Okay, yay. You made a pitch and your prospect was like, yes, I'm in. You signed a new client. Woo woo! But now what?
Right. What do you do to go from yes to okay, now we're actually working together? And there are a lot of operational tidbits like your contract, your invoice, expectation setting, formally welcoming them into
Your
the
cult.
sphere. Yeah, into your cult, into your business cult.
Yeah.
So how do we go from A to B?
Yeah. So in this episode of the Big Bad Marketing Podcast, we're going to talk through all of the steps to get yourself in order and operationalize your process from A to Z once you get a yes and someone wants to give you their money. I'm Janae.
And I'm Brooke, and we're excited to run through this with you today.
Let's do
this!
Okay, so I want to take a quick flashback to the first time when someone said yes to us.
Oh.
What was that experience like for you on like an emotional excitement level, but also the part where now we had to do something and they said, yeah, I want to work with you. And we were like,
Oh, total fear. Like it was excitement mixed with fear, because when someone says yes, it's almost like that's where the real work begins, because now you, as the business owner, are starting to think through, step one, how am I going to get their money? How are they going to pay me? And that can be an intimidating step if you've never done it before. And then once you start to think through, oh, they're going to set up the payment system, and then how am I going to get them to sign? Like, are there any legal implications that I need to consider? Is there anything that I need to
cover my butt?
Right, exactly. And then you start to think through all these things and you're like, shoot, I don't know if I'm actually ready to serve clients yet.
Yeah. And then on top of that, right, like I think in that case, we were like, yeah, let's start next week. Like, let's start on Monday. And it was like a Thursday. And we were like, oh, damn, now we got to build a contract, get an invoicing platform set up, like all the things. And that became incredibly overwhelming, but also stressful. We had more things to do than the time or resources to actually do them. And we're two people. So I feel for you, solopreneur, entrepreneur, when you're like, I have to do all this myself. I don't even know what to do. But that's why we're here. We're going to give you some tips, make it easier so that you can just relish in the excitement, maybe pop some champagne when you get the yes and you're like confident that you know what to do now.
Yeah, absolutely. And then later in the episode, we're going to cover off what happens if you get a maybe or if you get a no. So don't worry.
Oh, yeah, those happen too.
Yeah, those happen too. And we've got you covered on all that. But for right now, we're going to focus on the yes. So in some way, shape, or form, a prospect found out about you and what you do, and now they are ready to work with you. You may have just had a face-to-face conversation. You might have had an email exchange. So how do we take it from loosey-goosey, sure, this sounds great, to a more formal structure?
Yeah, a process.
Right.
Okay, so we have a framework, and we typically, when we work with, so you'd think this is actually so much more common sense than it seems to be, and that's fair, because like if you've never done this before, why would you even think about this until you have to do it, right? And that's why we're your magic marketing buddies, being like, hey, before you get to that point and you become stressed and overwhelmed, like here's what you should think about.
Yeah.
And so we tried to think about it in a framework where we take you from step 1 to step Z, so that you like, see what I did there? Like, so that you have it all worked out. And the invitation here is not, oh my God, now you have to do every step. It's to think about how it fits in the context of your sales cycle, of your process, so that it matches the cadence with which you're working with someone and the speed of delivery.
Yeah, and this is going to look way different for a service-based business, and it's going to require way more steps than a product-based business, where there is the exchange of money, you figure out how to accept the payment, and then you provide them with the physical
Give me
good.
your money. Here you go. Thank you.
I'm happy to.
Right?
Here's
That's
the
such a
money.
different than when you're like, I will build a website for you. And you're like, okay, give me your money.
Now tell me everything else we need to know.
So instead of choking up, let's walk through on a high level. Let's walk through this framework. I want to read it out loud. And we've broken it into 5 steps, but the reality is each of these steps, which now I feel like I've said this before on other episodes, but each of these steps can be broken down into more granular steps. But just start with these as like a high level. Here's what would be the next main thing to think about in this process.
Yep.
So I'm going to read through them. So you have step 1, which is proposal. And that's the moment where you're delivering the information they need to decide whether they're going to work with you. And once that's been the yes, you need probably a contract and an invoice. So that means a formalized agreement of what you are giving them and what they are giving you, and a document of the financial exchange. Yep. Okay, next you've got a welcome letter. That's what we send, but this can be in any form. This is like a formal welcome to working with us. Okay. Next you've got expectation setting. This one is an opportunity to let people know what they can expect from you, and also, maybe more importantly, what you as the provider can expect from them. And we run into this a lot. Like, you'll need the person to share login credentials so you can get into their Squarespace website, right? And like, if they just fall off the radar and don't give us that, we can't make any progress on the contract. So that's why all of this gets stipulated and clarified right at the get-go.
Yep.
Okay, next you have delivery. So that's when you're going to and how you're going to be providing them the thing that you've agreed to in your service. And then the last one is a really exciting one, which is getting a testimonial. So you have now collateral to showcase to more prospects and get more yeses, because you're like, hey, here's some social proof that what we do works.
Yeah, amazing. And if you are looking for a more tangible visual way to understand these themes, our monthly newsletter for October is going to walk through all of this in great detail and give you a lot of really tactical stuff. So you can head to bigbadmarketing.com/newsletter and sign up for that. We'll put the link here as well. And yeah.
Click the link.
Yeah.
But also I think our newsletters do such a good job of sharing really valuable information for business owners who are like, I came into this business because I make pizzas and I just want people to buy them. I don't know how to get them to buy, but what should I do? And it's just like, it's filled with information that you can just take and have little tidbits to help you do all of your marketing more effectively.
Yeah.
And my favorite part of our newsletters are the really bad jokes. So if you're not signed up yet, go ahead and sign up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay,
Great.
let's dive a little more into each of the steps of this framework of turning a yes into a system.
Yes. So in step 1, we always start with the proposal. And we, in the early days, were constantly reinventing the wheel of the proposals. And what we realized is, no, we just needed one proposal template. And then any future client that came through, we can just modify that same template according to what they need. So depending on what your business is and how you would like to present your proposal, it might look like a 5 to 6 page PDF where you step through and say, okay, these are your goals. Here's how we're going to achieve those goals, and here's how much it's going to cost to work together. Mm-hmm. And so,
wait, what does it end with though? After the cost?
After the cost is the CTA, where we say to request a formal contract, do X, Y, Z.
And we have a whole episode on proposals, and we have a whole blog on it. So we'll link that in the show notes so you can, if you're like, I'm on the proposal stage, you can get more info of exactly what to do.
Yep, exactly. And then after you have this really beautiful proposal and you share it with the client,
and then you get engaged.
And then maybe you hop on a call with them and they say, okay, formal yes. Now they have yesed it and we are ready to move to the contracting stage. And the contracting stage is a much more formal version of your agreement with that client, wherein you are outlining the terms. So you're saying, this is a 6-month contract between you and I through these dates, and these things are going to happen, and this is what I'm going to deliver to you. This is how much you're going to pay me, and all of the other legalese type of terms that you need in there to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And that might, depending on, again, the business that you're in, require you working with a lawyer or simply going to ChatGPT and asking it to help you come up with a contract that's going to protect you against, all the possibilities of things that could happen in the course of business.
Okay, so disclaimer, ChatGPT is great and we use it for so many things. So yes, use it to make a contract, and it's not a lawyer. So if you...
Nor are we. Yeah, we are not lawyers, and this is not
although
advice.
We can argue about stuff really well. But yeah,
Yes.
Do yourself a favor and make sure that you're taking all the proper channels and protocols to make sure your legal stuff is in the right place. That's what I want to say. Also, I want to say, we're in a place where we're saying proposal is part of this framework. And I think the reason we landed on that is because you had to have gotten a little yes, like a lowercase y yes, for someone to want to get a proposal from you. Yep. So that means you've got a pretty hot lead. They want to know what it's going to cost to work with you, what they're going to get from working with you. So that's like, open your mini bottle of champagne, like the little tiny one down here, and celebrate that, yes. And then now you're going to move on once you get that proposal in to the big yes. And that's when it becomes a capital Y yes. And that's why we're like, well, this is still part of this framework. Is like, you've already gotten some form of a yes, and now what?
Yeah. And when you really get to celebrate is once they pay the invoice.
Yes.
So
Tell us about the invoice.
Yeah. So an invoice in many instances can be attached to a contract, and we use a tool called Honeybook that enables us to send a contract and an invoice. So it's like, okay, sign here, now make your first payment.
What's that thing called when someone, like a DocuSign? I don't know if that's a branded term, but it's like a process. Okay.
It's a company.
They did not sponsor this episode, but they could. But it leads you through a form so that it's telling you where to sign, what you need to do, and then once that's complete, it takes you to the next one. Yeah, okay.
Yep, exactly. And the invoice is going to be set up according to your contract. So maybe the client said, hey, you know what, I really want to work with you on this project, but it would really help me out to do the payments over 6 months instead of 3. And if you're amenable to that, then you set it up and you say, okay, you're going to auto pay every 6 months on the same date. And that's how we're going to do things. So always be sure to get that kind of alignment with the client for the payments and make sure everybody's on the same page. But you can pop that champagne in a major way once that first payment comes in and you get that email that says, you got money.
Which I think it's such a funny place where people are like, yeah, I need to get paid for my work. But that we're like, make it so easy to get money, because that's a part of this framework that so many people we've talked to, they have not thought about at all.
Yeah.
They're just like, I have a business. And we're like, great. How do you accept payments? And they're like, what do you mean? I take money. And we're like, okay, yeah, how?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Venmo?
I guess I haven't thought about that. Yeah, which those
we
are.
have a great podcast episode all about invoicing.
Yeah, I think part of the logic here is that we have a lot of content already built out around these things, and we're like, let's put them together so that you, listener at home, building your business, you're like, what do I do end to end to create this system for myself? And now you have all of the main steps and then broken down into mini steps.
Yeah, absolutely. So once somebody pays you, now you are at the point where they're the most excited and you are the most vulnerable in terms of now they're expecting something from you. And what really can wow somebody when they start to work with you is a well thought out welcome letter that welcomes them into and makes them feel like a part of your business. So the fam, yeah, absolutely. So it doesn't have to be overly emotional or anything like that, but
if you make them cry, you did great.
Then you win.
Call us because we need your help.
But tell us about what a good welcome letter might look like.
Yeah, I think it's again something we've said over and over is a form template. It can feel dry and stagnant. So this is an opportunity to have a template that you go in, and when someone signs with you, you personalize that thing and you talk to their real goals and things that they've said to you, real pain points, and share how excited you are to work with them and you're looking forward to all these amazing outcomes, whatever that may be for you and your small business. And then if you can take the step of like putting your e-signature on there, or better yet, your real signature, I think that just goes a really long way to helping someone feel like they're in the crew now and you really are there with them and excited to be with them.
And they are a real business. So brand it, put your logo on it, make that a
put their logo on it too.
Sure, yeah, why not? Make that a
Put our
display
logo on it too.
of your professionalism, because when they get a formal welcome letter that has very clear, okay, you're in good hands. Here are the things that are going to happen next. Here's how we're going to work together. And here's the next time you're going to hear from me. That's okay, great. So now I've given you money and I have the reassurance that you are then
You have
going
a plan.
that you have a plan to deliver on it. And that just makes somebody feel reassured.
Yeah,
I've
absolutely.
spent my money well, and we're not even, into the delivery part of it yet.
Okay, yes. And all of these things, so the first few steps we just went through. So from the point of getting a yes after you've given the proposal, so the contract and the invoice, like do those things so quickly because the momentum, it's hot. And so you want the people to sign and give you money as quickly as possible, not because you're like, oh, they're going to hate this once they realize the gimmick, which if you have a gimmick, like we're not your people, like promising that you're doing something sustainable and really good for them and that you're going to deliver on it, but do it quickly because they're excited about it then. So get the money then before they have all this time to be like, well, actually, I'm going to do my own marketing or whatever it is that they tell us. But this also goes for the welcome letter because it's like closing that gap of, you've given us the money, and you are now doing some goodwill in building a sense of trust and like really heartfelt experience of this is going to go well, and we want you to know that we know that, and we are confident in what we're doing. All at that same time period where everything's kind of happening really quickly. Like it didn't get lost in the shuffle, and you're not a number.
Yeah, your job at the very beginning of a client relationship is to remove doubt. You are removing their doubts over hiring you. Because a lot of times in a service-based relationship, we're talking hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars changing hands for a service, so not a tangible physical thing. And there is inherent doubt that goes with that. So even we see with our marketing services, we can't make any guarantees that this is going to work. So somebody is willingly entrusting us with their money to do a thing for them, and there's a ton of doubt that goes along with it. So really that's the whole point of the welcome letter, and then expectation setting is just the reassurance of, I've got this, you're in good hands. You're in good hands.
That's our jingle. You're in good
Wait,
hands.
I think somebody's
someone's already
got
it. Fine.
Dang it.
No, and I think I know that I've read a statistic about this. I'm not even going to make up what the number is because you're always like, those are made up. But it's that in the first period of time after a client signs up with you, they form their opinion about your working relationship. Yeah. So more than anything, the first 48 hours are your opportunity to really drive it home that you are a great partner to work with, that you're going to deliver and you're going to go above and beyond. So in the first 2 days, don't flub it up. In the whole contract period, don't flub it, but definitely not in the first few days.
Yeah. And so let's talk more about expectation setting, because that step 3, super important. And again, an opportunity to wow. So setting expectations around how you're going to work together, setting boundaries around how you're going to work together. Here are my response times for things. I will return your emails within X business hours, whatever that may be. But now they know up front. If you send me an email on Friday at 4 p.m., I will get back to you by Monday at 4 p.m. And just setting these guardrails in place of, this is how we are going to work together. I have a plan for us, but now you know. And it's kind of a way to protect yourself later. So if you don't hear from us,
this is why. Go back to this. Yes. And it's like if you've been in corporate, it's like a roles and responsibilities and clarifying, here's what you're responsible for, here's what we're responsible for. And we frame it in a nice way, but that way there's no later well, you said you were going to get back to me in 10 minutes. And I was like,
we never said that.
Well, I definitely never said that. And even in our paperwork, it never said that. So, I'm sorry if you had some misunderstanding here, and we're going to do everything we can, but we typically lean into a 48 business hour response time as our max. And we're like, we will get back to you for non-urgent things within 48 business hours. And then, of course, internally, we strive to...
2 business days, because 48 business hours would technically be 6 business
Oh, yeah, days. Thank you. Excuse me.
Yeah. Get back to you next week.
Yeah, no, 48 hours business days.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
2 business days.
This is why we... Yeah. Yes.
We
thank
could
you.
say it as 2 business days.
I want to make it more complicated. How many are the longest seconds?
14 business hours.
Susie had a bag of nuts. Okay, so we say we will get back to you within 2 business days for non-urgent things, but we strive literally to respond within 1 hour. That's our like sort of internal guide mark. Is like someone on one of our clients has a question, has something for us, we will respond. But that builds in a buffer of like, oh, I'm actually at the gym right now. I'm cooking my meal. Whatever it is, like it.
Is this an opportunity to bring up under-promising and over-delivering?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So
Yeah.
under promise and over deliver as long as it's within 48 business hours.
Yes.
Okay, what else would you want to include in that expectation setting item? And what do you think? Is that better done in a document or in a conversation or both? And how do these things relate with a welcome letter? Like is all that in one?
Yeah, so I think from a timeline perspective, and what we like to do in our service business is once you sign with us, we schedule our first call. That call is where we can sort of voice over the expectation setting piece of it and then start to dive into the project. A welcome letter can then go out immediately after the invoice, or if you've already scheduled that first call, you can send it after the first call.
Welcome.
Welcome. For expectation
Bienvenidos.
setting, for expectation setting, I really think putting things in writing is always the best way to go because from a CYA standpoint, like we've all had those problem clients who are saying things have been said that have not been said, and he said, she said kind of situation. And it's just so important to just put it in writing and say, well, no, actually on this date I sent this to you and this is what it said. So I like to always get everything in writing because there's no reason not to. But yeah, with the general expectation setting, you can always voice over it and, make sure the client doesn't have any questions or needs clarifications.
Yeah. Okay. And I know I mentioned earlier like that this framework and this kind of process and thinking it through is something that we help our clients with. And it is really impactful to sit down with a client. We had this opportunity recently and talk through what does this process look like for them, and let's help them establish timelines and build out templates to help make this process easier. And it's so fulfilling to see them like, wow, I haven't even thought about any of this. Thank you so much for helping us organize this.
Yeah.
And so I just want to invite listener, if you or someone you know, well, you are listening to this, but if you know a business owner who is like navigating these steps yourself and trying to figure it out and it just feels like a big mess, please send them this episode. Please, if you want to go for it with a video too, we're like big and boisterous over here, like that would be so meaningful for us to help continuing to share this message that can be really helpful for people who are already juggling all the things they're trying to do to move their business forward and take one more of those pieces off their plate and make it easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially for someone who is brand new starting their business, this is a really helpful exercise to just think through what is my customer experiencing, how many days between doing this, and just making sure all the pieces come together.
And everybody feels welcome.
Absolutely. So step 4, delivery.
It's a pizza.
Hey, this is the thing that you know how to do. This is literally
your thing.
The whole thing you do. Do it well. No notes. Just deliver the thing, do it well. Again, anywhere possible, under promise and over deliver. If you can definitely on your worst week, get something to somebody by Friday, I'll get this to you by Tuesday. Because how wow is it when you show up in their inbox on Friday and they weren't expecting it till Tuesday? Just play it to your advantage.
Yeah, I think this piece is, it's all you and you know how to do this part the best. And if you're not sure, like you build yourself a framework just like this to think through what your delivery of your service product looks like. But it's also everything that we've talked through before about setting expectations leads to this, right? This is what you have set the expectations about, and this is what you have welcomed someone to and gotten their money for. So this is your chance to shine. Yeah. Do it big, do it bad. All right, keep going. What's next? What is our maybe last piece here?
Yeah, so lastly, we want to grab testimonials where appropriate. And we have a great episode on testimonials, which we will also link here. But ultimately, happy customers make amazing testimonials.
They wear your shirts.
They do. They wear your shirts. They support your brand. They share your posts online.
They tell other people. It really is that. It's like the best compliment is a referral, and that happens naturally when you do a big bad job.
Just do a good job.
Do a good job. Have a big bad day. Do a good job, and people, you don't even have to ask people. I think they will just tell other people. But we go on the safe side, and we say ask anyways, because now they just have even more of a push to be like, yeah, actually, you guys do a really great job, and I would love to promote you.
Yeah, and could we get that written and or video testimonial?
Get it in writing.
For use on our website? Thanks.
We're not lawyers, but get it in writing.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that sort of closes the loop on that end-to-end. But obviously, within this, and depending on what your business is, some of these steps might look different. You might insert other steps here that we're not even considering. Maybe the delivery of the thing you do is so intense that that's a 20-step process just in and of itself. Mm-hmm. So sit down, think about it end to end, think about the experience you want your prospect to have as they become your customer. What do you want them to feel, and how are you going to show up and help them get there?
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
We're assuming, or at least we're talking to people in this podcast episode about that someone said yes and someone wants to give them money. But the reality of running a small business is that doesn't happen every time. Mm-hmm. At least in my experience anyways. But
everyone always says yes to me, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I say yes to everybody. I think we just talked about that. I have a hard time saying no, but the reality is we don't get a yes every time.
No, definitely not.
No, we get no's sometimes, and we also get maybes sometimes. So what does that mean in terms of building a framework, and how do these things all fit together? Because sometimes people are going to be like, no, which, like, obviously you wouldn't send them a welcome letter if they said no, but what do we want to do with those people, and how can we move forward and learn from what we've done and all that good stuff?
Yeah. So maybes and nos should have their own ways that you think about them. So the reasons for a maybe could be many. Like maybe a maybe is now's not the right time. This month, not good for me. This quarter, not good for me. This year, not good for me. But later, I'm going to be ready for something like this. So
it's like a delay. They need a little more time.
Yeah, just need a little bit more time. Maybe might be I don't have the budget for this right now, but maybe in 3 months when I'm making more money, I could afford this.
Which of course in marketing we're like, well, if you did this now, then in 3 months you'll be able to afford double.
Right. But that doesn't always work.
No.
So I think, understanding your objections and being able to have something to come back with is smart for a maybe. So what are your thoughts?
Okay, yeah. I like accepting the objections.
Of course.
If you have thought them out and you're a bit strategic, you can help to encourage the person to overcome them with your feedback, which is very different than being a pushy salesperson, right? Like how frustrating is someone still trying to insist when you're like, I don't have the money for that. They're like, well, you'll make it work, like I just said. And But I do think, we've had an experience where someone kind of came back to us and was like, I think that's going to be too much of a lift for me to do on my own. And we're like, well, that's fine. And as the experts that you're wanting to work with, like, we really do think this is the appropriate amount for you. You don't need more than this, and you don't need less than this. This is the right one. And they were like, okay, I just needed to be reminded. And I think you're totally right. So as long as you're coming from that trusted advisor, trusting relationship, and you're really being honest with your client, I think you can overcome maybes without being salesy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I totally agree with that. And ask questions, too. Don't be afraid to, if somebody says, I just don't think now's the right time. Okay. Bye. No. Okay, what about now? It doesn't feel like the right time. Is there another time that would be good to follow up? Get to the root cause of the maybe, because the maybe might just be,
Uncertainty?
Yeah, uncertainty. I've never bought anything like this before. I'm not actually sure how this relationship goes. And maybe it's something that you can overcome just from a little bit more questioning.
Sure. I like that. And I like, how about this? Take some time and I'll follow up with you in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Or would it be okay if I follow up with you in, depending on sort of what it is and the high stakesness of your offers, like I'll follow up in a month, I'll follow up in 6 months, I'll follow up next week, right? And also what I want to say is the maybes are opportunities for people to go back into the funnel of
Nurture.
Of nurture. Yes, exactly. Like maybe they still want to benefit from, in our case, like tidbits about marketing.
Yeah.
And when the time is right, maybe they'll make their way back down through the funnel. And if not, that's okay too, because that's what makes us feel good is people benefiting from what we can offer at any level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right. So how about the hard no?
They're like, nah, dog.
No.
Okay, I think again it points to the reasoning because I think actually a lot of no's are just maybes disguised as no's because of all the reasons you just said.
Yeah.
I don't have the money and I can't do it right now. And we're like, well, that's fine and we can then do it later and let's revisit this in 3 months. Or like, I don't have the money, like, okay, let's come up with a payment plan. Here's some solutions. Here's what we can think about. Here's other ways we're working with people, if that's the way that you work.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think
No.
Be understanding of the no because no's are hard. So no doubt somebody actually went through a bit of an emotional experience to deliver that no to you. So I think ultimately respecting that, say, okay, completely understand, might not be the right time. But then sort of same way that you were handling a maybe of, would it be okay if I followed up after some time? Or would you be open to discussing options to work together at a lower price point? Something that is acknowledging, okay, you don't want this right now.
Not the way it is.
Not
in
the
this
way
package.
in this package. The way that I have presented this
crystal
to
ball.
you is like not what you're looking for. And I completely get that. And I still want to help you. So are you open to this other dynamic where we could
Here's some
support
other
each other
options.
in this way? Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, if you get a no and you can come from a confident, open-minded place to ask, can you give me some feedback on that? What was it about this proposal that didn't work for you?
Yeah.
I think that's the best of all possible worlds with a no from someone who's like, nah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I totally respect that decision, and can you help me understand why so I can do better next time? And then now you have information to help you fix whatever's broken, or maybe you take that feedback and you throw it out and you're like, that's a load of crap.
Yeah. And one thing that we recommend to our clients is to keep a spreadsheet, and we do this too, of all of the prospects, what they say, and what you pitched. So prospect A, we said we were going to do a full website design. We came in at a price of $5,000, and they said that's too expensive. Okay.
Okay, what if we gave them $3,000 instead? What do you think about that? If you're like, okay, no, we'll just give it for you for $3,000.
Don't do that.
Why?
Because that's not the price.
Okay, so you're saying, do you get a no? Don't immediately change the price and be like, how about now?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
What would you do instead?
I would change the offer.
Okay.
And change the price.
Talk through that for this case. They wanted a website with 5 pages, and we said it's $5,000.
Yeah, and maybe if the way that we price it is per page, maybe we could say, but we could do a simpler 3-page website, or we could do a 1-page website with the following features for the following price. But I would repackage the offer. I would not just discount the thing, because you priced it that way for a reason, right? Unless your pricing was just bonkers and you were shooting for the moon and it was totally vibes-based.
Vibes-based pricing.
And
we
there's
need stickers
nothing to
that say
it.
that.
We do, yeah. Yeah, we definitely do. But yeah, no, I wouldn't just knock that down and be like, okay, yep, you know what? No problem. I said it was $5,000 worth of value. I'll give it to you for $250. It's fine. $250 for your website. That's just like, it's not a good look for a business. But keep your spreadsheet, and you'll start to look for trends and patterns. And if you are consistently seeing that you're not closing proposals because everyone across the board is saying your prices are too high, maybe it is time to look in the mirror.
Well, then it's a pricing question.
And it might be, which we have
look in the mirror and be like, reconsider the prices.
Yeah, but maybe people are not saying that it's a pricing thing. Maybe there are other reasons. Maybe they believe that they can do, maybe they don't like you. Maybe they say you suck. Maybe they are saying that they have resources in-house. Maybe they're saying
that you named your brand bad.
And that you come up in Google searches for bad marketing all the time, because that's our number one keyword is bad marketing.
Nailed it.
Which is hilarious. But anyway, so yeah, keep your spreadsheet. Start to look for trends. Don't take any one no as a personal attack on you. It is not you they are saying no to. It is the offer. that they are saying no to, and you have to keep those two things separate. It's not about you. You're a lovely human.
Aww.
It's about your offer.
Yeah. And I think a really good point here as we wrap up is like, a yes is also not the end of this journey.
No, not
and
at
it doesn't
all.
mean now you're done. And now is like when you really kickstart and do the things. So
Yep.
hopefully this framework has helped you figure out, now that you've gotten a yes, what are the next steps so that you keep it as a yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And get more yeses
It
and
is-
make it simpler and more efficient and all the exciting things that we dork out about all the time.
Yeah, totally. And just track your data and look for patterns and trends. And a series of yeses means you're on the right path. Too many yeses, if you're getting 100% yes all the time, your prices are probably a little bit too low and it's time to raise them. But if you are getting, 60 to 70% yeses versus nos, you're probably hitting that sweet spot. But you're going to have to, ask the question a lot and get a lot of data. And
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for listening. Go
Yeah.
ahead and like this podcast. with a big
Subscribe.
thumbs up. Subscribe so you never miss a single episode or our amazing dance moves. Dance
Go
party.
ahead. Dance it out.
Let's do this.
Have a great day.